Welcome in, Texans fans. I mean, it's a great Thursday, am I right? The day after a major trade. I mean, the whole NFL world is talking about the Houston Texans and how amazing they could be next season. It's just great to be a Texans fan right now. So today I'm going to break down the fallout from the Stefon Diggs trade, what that means for Texans players, other teams around the NFL, breaking down just everything that happened yesterday after the Stefon Diggs trade. Before we get into that, I need your help. We are currently 50 subs away from 13,000 subscribers here on the channel, and I just want to thank every single person that's hit that sub button so far. And I actually want to give a special shout out to Dylan Frisk, somebody who, one of my close friends from high school, told me that you watch the show and you really support the show. You're telling everybody about Texans Today. I appreciate you. You're a real one. If you haven't already, go down and hit that sub button. Help us get to 13,000 subscribers before the NFL draft. We're only at 50 away, the fastest growing Texans channel on YouTube. Go down there and hit that sub button. Now, let's talk about first what this means for Texans players, in particular, some of the guys in the wide receiver room. First, let's talk about John Metchie. The Texans obviously traded for star receiver Stefon Diggs yesterday. Metchie played sparingly as a rookie last year. I say rookie because he missed his first season battling leukemia. John Metchie is a true warrior. But what is his role for the team moving forward? Where does he fit in this wide receiver depth chart? I mean, last season, like I said, played sparingly, 16 receptions, 158 yards, no touchdowns on the year for John Metchie. He still has that potential. He's a speedster. He's a guy who can stretch the field, but looking at this Texans depth chart, I just don't know where he gets the snaps. I mean, you have the top three there in Stefon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. You have Noah Brown, who re-signed this past offseason. And then on that second row, you have Robert Woods, John Metchie, and then a guy also like Xavier Hutchinson, another guy who last year a rookie drafted in the 6th round out of Iowa State. Does the team value him over John Metchie moving forward? I mean, who are they really looking at to give more snaps to, give more time to, give more reps to this offseason, preseason, and going into next year? Is it the kid from Iowa State, or is it John Metchie? I don't have the answer to that, but I do know there's only one ball to go around. There's not going to be enough snaps for both of these guys to get adequate reps in camp and during the season, in my opinion. I mean, either one of these guys, you'll be the 5th guy in the wide receiver room. So let me know down in the comment section, if you had to pick one to keep, you can only keep one of these guys. Who are you picking? Is it Xavier Hutchinson, type X down in the comment section? Or is it John Metchie III, type J? Let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section. This is the pinned comment, so if a YouTube ad break plays, all good. Let it roll and let me know your answer. I'm going to keep John Metchie over Xavier Hutchinson, but I do have to say I think Metchie's trade value would be a lot higher than Xavier Hutchinson if you were looking to deal one of these guys. I don't think the Texans necessarily will deal one of these guys, maybe in a trade for another player. If they're looking to make some more moves, one of these guys could be an add-in for a team that needs a wide receiver. But if they're going to keep one of them, just cut one of them, I would rather keep John Metchie. If they're going to trade, now Metchie does offer a little bit more value. Somebody who I think they might cut now is Robert Woods. He's on the last year of his contract, turning 32 this season, and the Texans, they just traded for Stefon Diggs. Now, what does that mean for Robert Woods? Do they end up cutting the older wide receiver? Now, he's only a year older than Stefon Diggs, but Stefon Diggs arguably, not even arguably, is a much better receiver statistically than Robert Woods. And cutting Woods doesn't necessarily save you a ton of money. Dead cap would be $4.75 million. Cap savings would be $5 million. But I just don't think, what is his role now with the team? What does Robert Woods give you moving forward for this wide receiver depth chart for the Houston Texans? Not a lot, in my opinion. I still think he can add value for other teams. He could be a wide receiver 3, a wide receiver 4 on wide receiver needy teams. But I don't see it how he fits with this squad. Now, coming up in just a moment, are the Texans Super Bowl favorites? after the Stefon Diggs trade. A lot of chatter around this team, a lot of chatter of what they can do next season, and how the Diggs trade affects the rest of the NFL. Not only the Buffalo Bills, but other teams as well. I'll break that down in just a moment. But got to show some love to our friends over at Fanatics. If you want some great deals on Texans gear, go to chatsports.com/Texans Sale. Send you over to our friends over at Fanatics so they know that we sent you. And you can get great deals on all these items. All these items up to 65% off right now in the store. Texans, they're going to be coming out with new jerseys. So you can get all these items really good on sale. And Jeremy Chuggs pro tip, always shop for the winter in the spring because you're going to get windbreakers, you're going to get jackets, you're going to get hoodies a lot cheaper than you would in the wintertime. And hey, you can just kind of store those things during the summer, maybe, keep them away a little bit, maybe like this quarter zip that's coming up right here. Kind of keep that hidden away for a little bit, and then football season rolls around and you have a lot of cool gear that you can wear whenever it gets a little colder outside. Either way, go to chatsports.com/Texans Sale and check out all the sale items they have over at Fanatics for you. One more time, chatsports.com/Texans Sale. It's in the comments and the description of today's video. Now, the Texans, are they Super Bowl favorites after this Diggs trade? A lot of people are saying they are one of the favorites, but the favorites, not so fast. They jumped up to plus 1,500 in the latest odds to win the Super Bowl, 7th best in the NFL. These were the teams that were ahead of the Houston Texans in the latest odds books. The 49ers at plus 500, the Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions, at plus 650, Baltimore Ravens plus 900, the Dallas Cowboys at plus 1,300. I don't get that one whatsoever. I mean, they are all in according to their owner, Jerry Jones. Detroit Lions also there at plus 1,300, and the Buffalo Bills also at plus 1,300. Interesting that they just traded Stefon Diggs, yet they are still higher than the Houston Texans in the latest odds. Let me know, who's a team that's ahead of the Texans? One of those 6 teams that shouldn't be. Let me know down in the comment section. I'll just throw it out there. The Cowboys should not be ahead of the Texans in the latest Super Bowl odds. The only reason why I could see imaginable is because they're in the NFC, a little bit easier conference, but I don't even think they're going to be the favorite to win their division next season. The NFC East has not had a repeat winner in the past 20, 25 years in that division. So the Cowboys as larger favorites than the Texans, I don't think so. I'm not buying it. Now, let's look at the rest of the NFL, the Diggs effect. How does this trade impact the rest of the league? Now, I have 3 things that really came to mind whenever it came to the rest of the NFL in this Stefon Diggs trade. Number 1, obviously, the AFC East. It's a little bit more interesting in my opinion. I mean, now that, this is for the next one, Colin. This is for the next one. The AFC East, a little bit more interesting now that Stefon Diggs is not with the Bills anymore. Now we look at these other teams. We look at, the Jets. We look at the Dolphins. We look at the Patriots. It should be in photo, Cullen. It should be in photo. The AFC East, who's going to win this division? I mean, these 4 teams, now the Bills look a little bit less. Aaron Rodgers, could the Jets possibly win this division? Could the Dolphins come out and win this division this year? I think it's more of the Patriots, depending on what they do in the draft, you never know. But I would really say it's more of a 3-team race at the top of the AFC East. But could Aaron Rodgers and the Jets kind of squeak this one out? I don't know. I think it makes this division a little bit more interesting going into next season. Now, the second thing is before I do that, who's winning the AFC East this year? I told you, it's a 3-legged race, in my opinion, between the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. Who do you think is winning the AFC East this year? Let me know down in the comment section. The second thing, the Diggs effect. Bills taking a wide receiver early in the draft this year. I think it's a foregone conclusion. You look at their wide receiver room, the top guys are Khalil Shakir and Mac Hollins. And Curtis Samuel. 3 dudes who are not number 1. So a lot of people are saying the Bills could end up trading up in the draft this year. But I think they're, regardless, going to take a wide receiver round 1 in the draft this season. And these are 5 guys I could see them taking. Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU, Adonai Mitchell from Texas, Keon Coleman from Florida State, State, Xavier Worthy from Texas, and Xavier Legette from South Carolina. I could see them trading up into the teens, trading up, a little bit higher into the draft to get a guy like Brian Thomas Jr. to replace what Stefon Diggs was. I mean, we do have to remember the Minnesota Vikings. They traded away Stefon Diggs. You know who they drafted after they traded away Stefon Diggs? Justin Jefferson. So could the Bills maybe get a guy to immediately replace Diggs? I think they're going to swing at one of these guys in the first round of this year's draft. And lastly, around the Diggs effect, will other wide receivers get traded this offseason? A lot of chatter around wide receiver trades ends up being Keenan Allen and then Stefon Diggs. But where does that leave these two young guys, Brandon Aiyuk of the 49ers and T. Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals? I had talked about T. Higgins and how the Texans were interested in T. Higgins, but ultimately went with Stefon Diggs because it was the cheaper option. Now, I don't think these teams end up trading Brandon Aiyuk or T. Higgins this offseason because both those guys, on like one-year deals, they're both younger guys. I don't think either of these teams are willing to trade these guys because, one, they're both in Super Bowl windows. They have both, 49ers were in the Super Bowl last year. Bengals in the Super Bowl just a couple years ago. They still have Joe Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And two, after seeing what Keenan Allen got, after seeing what Stefon Diggs got, granted they are much older than these two, I don't think that these teams are looking at these guys and being like, you know what, it's worth trading them for this season. I think it's, in their mind, I'd just rather keep these guys and keep them on the squad. It's not worth the draft capital and trying to replace these guys for this season when we're trying to go out and win a Super Bowl. That's why I think these two guys stay put this offseason after the Stefon Diggs trade. Now, that's all I have for you on today's show. If you want to hit me up, if you want to ask me any questions, do so on Twitter at Jeremy Chuggs, giving you the latest Texans news and rumors online. And as always, like I told you, go down and hit that sub button. We are 50 subs away from 13K. Help us reach that milestone. And let me show my bosses, Texans fans are here to represent. Go down and hit that sub button for free Texans videos.